Well, hello. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Steven. So, this week's blog is entitled Bad Lawyering in Florida. Over the last week, I've received a boatload of inquiries about a case that just got decided in Florida on People v. Drejka. I'm sure I'm butchering the defendant's last name, and for that I apologize. But many of you remember the story. So, about 2 years ago, maybe not quite that long, there was an individual. He evidently had an obsessive compulsive desire to accost people that he felt were illegally parked at handicap spots. There was the way that the facts played themselves out. Effectively, a couple had parked in a handicap spot at a convenience store. The driver, a fairly large male, went into the convenience store. His passenger, a female, remained back at the car. The defendant approached the vehicle, and apparently he had done this numerous times, but approached the vehicle and began berating the woman in the car for ostensibly illegally parking in a handicapped parking spot. The boyfriend or her significant other came out, saw him engaged in this confrontation. We can only assume he felt that she was being abused by him, so he ran up and pushed the defendant to the ground. He then took a step towards the defendant. The defendant drew a concealed carry firearm and ended up shooting fatally the victim. Anyways, the case went to trial, and in the trial, and this is where things got a little interesting, a supposed expert witness was brought in by the prosecution, ostensibly to sort of, disqualify the concept of something that many of you know is what's referred to as a Tueller Drill. Now, without going into too much detail, the prosecution's expert witness completely botched what the Tueller Drill was. And unfortunately, the defense counsel, I personally just do not think was well versed in defensive tactics. So they didn't realize that the Tueller Drill was being inappropriately used, as pursuant to the way that the expert witness had articulated it. And ostensibly, many are feeling that he ended up being found guilty because of this ineffective assistance of counsel. Now, I'm not entirely sure I agree with other analysts. I don't know that this was dispositive to him actually being convicted. It might very well have been played a part in him being convicted. What it definitely shows was that the defense counsel never was challenged the testimony that came in. The testimony was used improperly, but it's also entirely possible that the jury just simply convicted him because they didn't like him. In any event, read the blog. As always, you can email me directly if you want to comment on it. Email me at steven@artemishq.com. I want you to be trading constantly, consistently, repetitively, and with purpose. And above all else, stay safe. Until we have coffee again next week.